We have been getting pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Kyiv with President Zelensky for optics and for substantive diplomacy. These are very important pictures because with those pictures, Prime Minister Modi and India are sending a message across the world of India's complete non-alignment when it comes to taking sides, India's neutrality, and the fact that for us it's not a zero-sum game. When we say peace, it actually means peace for which we are willing to talk to both the sides. So for example, when the Americans say they want peace, they are still supplying weapons to Ukraine. When the Chinese say they want peace, they are solidly standing with Russia. Nobody, except for perhaps Prime Minister Modi of that stature, a leader of that stature, has traveled to both Moscow and Kyiv and carried a message of peace and giving a chance to diplomacy and dialogue again, and having said almost half a dozen times that this is not a time for war, and this is not a time when you can find solutions in the battlefield. It's better to go back to the drawing board and give chance to diplomacy and dialogue. So those are important messages that are coming out of a Prime Minister's visit to Kyiv. And the same Western capitals that were panning Prime Minister for hugging President Putin, an old India ally, now what they would be saying is going to be interesting to watch out for, because the same Prime Minister Modi within a span of a month has gone to Kyiv and given a hug to President Zelensky. And the fact that he also went and paid his respects and homage to a memorial for the kids who have been martyred, children who have lost their lives to this 2.5-year-old war now between Russia and Ukraine, also sends across a message back to Moscow that maybe there should be a relook at what are the military objectives, and if many of them have been substantially achieved, why not pull back and give peace a chance? Apart from that, Prime Minister, of course, visited Poland, and in Warsaw again for factoids. First time in 45 years that an Indian Prime Minister is visiting Warsaw. First time in 30 years since the independence of Ukraine from the erstwhile USSR, an Indian Prime Minister visiting. Apart from that, the fact that around the geographies, around the world, the Modi government has increased its engagement on a parameter of which is that in the last 10 years, since 2014 when Narendra Modi came to power, India has established 23 more missions or embassies or consulates around the world, many of them in Africa, but many in Europe also, including this month itself when India opened its mission in Tirana, the capital of Albania. And that gives an idea of the increased engagement, increased diplomatic push commensurate with India's increasing economic might and diplomatic heft. And Prime Minister believes that we should be seen at every table, we should be heard, and we should be able to influence the geopolitical game, and for that we need to be present everywhere, and that's why this engagement. So with this visit to Europe, to Poland and Ukraine, Prime Minister has again underscored India's increased diplomatic push around the world, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, in the case of Ukraine, a strong message to world capitals, particularly the West, that India is balancing between the West and the rest, and it's not a zero-sum game.